opponent, I find she has a good memory because she's really good with her slogans and her cliches. You're going to hear it all night. She's going to give you the same empty promises. She's going to give skin in the game. She's going to have low-hanging fruit. Boots are going to be on the ground. I know that for sure about her.
It's reinforced in me the ability to just to stand in the midst of any criticism, definitely hearing and learning the acts of desperation from my opponent that have been pretty scary.
That was just one of several times in last night's debate between New Orleans mayoral candidates Desiree Charbonnet and Latoya Cantrell, throwing shade at one another. Charbonnet is a former municipal court judge who at one point had a huge financial advantage over Cantrell and 16 other candidates with an aggressive fundraising campaign, only to see it diminish with Cantrell's strong primary finish. 3 recent polls show Councilwoman Cantrell with a double-digit lead over Charbonnet. Now, whoever wins will make history as the first ever woman elected mayor of New Orleans. Joining us right now is Jarvis DeBerry, Deputy Opinions Editor for NOLA.com. So, Jarvis, what in the world is going down in the Crescent City? When I was there for Essence, Charbonnet was all over the place raising money. Folks were saying she's going to be the next mayor at Cantrell. Does she just have a much better ground game?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it, and I think Cantrell just kind of, it was like a kind of a tortoise and a hare kind of thing, where Charbonnet was way out ahead in the fundraising, and really, I think, scaring all the other candidates. And Cantrell just kept a slow and steady pace. And there was a PAC that got involved. There have been several PACs. I think this is the first time in the history of the mayoral elections that you've had kind of these kind of outside forces throwing their weights behind candidates. And there was candidates, and there was a PAC that really took out after Charbonnet with this group called Not For Sale NOLA, accusing her of basically going to go in and sell City Hall to all her friends with different contracts and favors. And that seems to have taken a toll on her. So after being a front runner for months and having the clear fundraising advantage, she came in 9 points behind Cantrell in the primary. And since then, Cantrell has been the fundraising leader. And again, she's kept a mostly steady pace, hasn't really gone after Charbonnet the way that Charbonnet and her camp have gone after Cantrell, and has kind of just tried to keep her car on the road and go steady and go forward. And that's pretty much the story of the race so far.
For our folks who don't know, give them a sense of both women in terms of their backgrounds and how that may very well play who follows Mitch Landrieu in the mayor's office.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting thing. There's never been a mayor of New Orleans who's not from New Orleans, and you sense that some people are trying to make that an issue. Charbonnet was born here. You may be able to tell by the name that's kind of a classic sounding New Orleans name from a Creole family here. Cantrell came to Xavier University here and never left. Cantrell was a community organizer that's been used against her by some of her opponents. She really is credited with kind of restoring to life the Broadmoor neighborhood in New Orleans, which is kind of dead center in the city and got a lot of flood damage. And a lot of plans after Katrina had Broadmoor not being rebuilt, not being redeveloped. And she was the head of the Broadmoor Improvement Association and really rallied and lobbied for the people in that community. Charbonnet, on the other hand, was a municipal court judge. She was before that another position called recorder of mortgages, but she was a municipal court judge. And so those are the two experiences that the people bring to the race. Cantrell, I think, had a lot more visibility because after she left the Broadmoor Improvement Association, she became a city council member representing the same neighborhood that she had kind of helped restore after Hurricane Katrina.
So Jarvis, what are the, so I got about a minute left. What have been the dominant issues that voters in New Orleans want to see the next mayor address?
we had a really, really bad flood on August 5th, and it was not related to any type of hurricane. It was just a really, really bad storm. Lots of people got flooded. We found out then that the Sewage and Water Board was not as honest about what was happening as they stated that they were, had been telling us that they were. The streets are horrible, as they've always been horrible. Crime is bad, as it's been bad for a long time. Economic development is not where people want it to be. A lot of people are complaining about the intrusion of Airbnb that's really destroying the character of a lot of New Orleans neighborhoods. So those are the issues. But that being said, it hasn't really been an issue focused campaign. It's been more about personalities, who's from here, who's not from here, which white folks are with you, which white folks are with you, you know, who are your associates, who are your associates. So I would think that most voters have found it pretty light on the actual substance and issues.
All right. Well, one thing I do hope that I hope black folks turn out in New Orleans, regardless of who they vote for. This has been one of the criticisms I've had in Birmingham, 25% turnout there. Also, Atlanta has a runoff on December 5th.
And I should add, Roland, for history's sake, we're going to have a black woman mayor of New Orleans, a black woman mayor of Baton Rouge, and a black woman mayor of Shreveport. This is actually a really historic moment in Louisiana.
All right, then, Jarvis DeBerry, NOLA.com. We'll appreciate it, and we'll, of course, give the results to our audience on Monday. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.